Hello and welcome back to the DayLuna Human Design Podcast, where today we have on a special guest, Hope Pedraza, and we are going deep into functional medicine and human design, how the physical energetics line together in combination. And this is honestly such an interesting, fascinating conversation. We go really deep into some human design aspects and how your human design chart can play into your physical health. But we also learn a lot from Hope about minerals, around hydration, around hormones, around food sensitivity. I mean, it's a really fascinating conversation that we're excited to share with you.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like I'm going to be sending this episode to everyone in my life because several times throughout this conversation, so many different people would pop up like, oh my gosh, they need to hear this. They need to hear this. This is so helpful. So I'm just fascinated with everything that Hope shared. So Hope Pedraza is a functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner. She's a human design guide, a clinical hypnotherapist, and host of the Hopeful and Wholesome podcast. So like it sounds, she is a manifesting generator, and she helps high-performing, spiritually conscious women optimize their energy, rebalance their nervous system, and reconnect with their body's wisdom so they can scale their business and life without burnout. Her signature method blends functional labs, human design embodiment, and subconscious reprogramming to create sustainable radiance from the inside out. And honestly, everything that she shared was just genius. You can feel her genius come through. You can feel her, just like she's got you from all angles, and you can just trust her to come in and fix you. It's kind of how I felt like, okay, please just take me fix me, please. Just felt so great. So you're going to love this episode, and we love Hope. I can't wait to keep just the conversation and keep learning from her going.
Okay, so without further ado, let's welcome on our guest for today, Hope Pedraza. We are so excited to have you on our show since we just recorded with you on your podcast, and just feels like such a fun day that we get to connect. I feel like our energies are we see human design in a similar way, so we're really grateful to have you here. So welcome. How are you feeling today?
I'm excited to be here and just to hang out with y'all this afternoon. This is super fun.
Yeah, feels like one of those days where you're like, I could talk about this all day long with these individuals, and I'm so grateful we're getting to share it with our community. So tell us a little bit about your work combining functional medicine with energy medicine and human design. It's really exciting for us. We've had functional medicine practitioners come on the show before, but I don't think we've ever had someone who does both human design and functional medicine in their work together in the way that you do. So it's exciting to talk about those realms together. And I'd love to just ask you, what was the origin story that led you into functional medicine and incorporating human design?
My background is in dance, which led me to Pilates. And so I have a brick and mortar Pilates studio that I've had for about 14 years now. And when I opened my studio, I wanted to have kind of this one-stop shop. You know, we have Pilates and we have HIIT and we have yoga, meditation, all things. And I wanted to provide just basic nutrition. And so I was I say air quotes. I was just doing simple like nutrition coaching at the time. I got a nutrition coaching certification and just helping women. And most of it was like, oh, I want to drop 10 pounds or something like that. But when I was working with women at the time, I was recognizing that there was deeper things going on in the body. Like these require deeper conversations than just talking about calories and macros. Like there's gut things and hormone things and thyroid things, and there's a bunch of stuff going on. So that led me down the path of going into becoming a functional practitioner, to really being able to dive deep into the physical body with the labs, and let's look at all the things and go deeper. And so, as y'all know, as entrepreneurs, like as you evolve as a human, your business evolves with you. And so I was kind of on my own evolution at the time, and I was just dabbling into human design. I found it with a spiritual coach that I was working with, and it was such a huge like awakening moment for me, learning human design. Like I know it is just for everybody who dives into it. And so I started to think like, there's got to be something here to bring to the women I'm working with. Like, yes, I love being able to put all these puzzle pieces together with the labs and all the things, but I was recognizing that on my own healing journey, this is becoming such a huge piece, like understanding these pieces of me, putting it together with the physical things. I had some physical things that I was working with myself. I had just completely burned myself out, and I had to, my adrenals were in the toilet. Like I had to rebuild myself up from a really really, really intense case of burnout, adrenal burnout. And so I was recognizing like, okay, this has been such a huge piece for me being able to bring alignment back to my body and balance back to my body. And so that was kind of the catalyst for me just figuring out like, how can I bring this into my work? Because yes, understanding these physical pieces are important, but I am of the belief that everything happening on the physical body has this energetic, emotional root cause. And to really understand the why behind these physical things, we have to understand the energetic pieces. Like, what is the energetics that is causing these physical things to show up on the body? And so that just brought me to bring in all these other modalities with human design and energetics. I'm working with energy frequency scans now, resonance scans, and putting all these other pieces together too. So it's just like this, I hesitate to use the word holistic because I feel like it's just so overused and kind of lost its meaning, but it really is putting that whole piece together, like WHOLE, holistic, like the whole piece, and having this comprehensive way of looking at the body, because we can do a really good job of compartmentalizing the body, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, but we all know that it's all connected. And so I just feel like we're doing ourselves such a disservice by separating all of those out rather than putting all of those pieces together. And really, if we really want to bring balance and healing to the body, we have to put all those pieces together.
Yeah, I love that you do this, because looking at your charts, like so great to see you using all of your gifts, but also
it's like manifesting, generating role model right there. All of those different things coming together.
Literally. Yeah. So for everyone listening, Hope is a 3/5 manifesting generator with sacral authority. But what's so interesting about your chart is that every single channel that you have is unconscious, and that you have a really activated emotional center. You have the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which is emotional energy, but at the end of the day, you are a sacral authority. And so being somebody who is so emotionally intelligent, but also having such a clear gut and spleen and throat and defined mind, like, but it's all unconsciously connected. Like, you diving into really decoding energetics alongside the physical body is just so fascinating, because you had to do that internally with your unconscious gifts, right? So it's just really cool. And I'm really grateful because obviously as we move into the new paradigm, like we were just talking about on your podcast and all of the details there, like we need more systems that work, right? And that hope side of like building while things are crumbling, like building things that actually support people as an individual looks like what you're doing when it comes to health, right? Like functional medicine that actually is getting to the root cause for an individual, right? Not like, oh, because you're a woman, or, oh, because, just hormones, right? Like these larger boxes, like breaking them down and getting to the actual individual's needs. And it does include our energy, like everything is energy. That's all we actually are. So when we can not only use like our physical reality, but also our energetic reality, and start to break that down and see it holistically, like you're talking about, it's definitely not something that's going to crumble in this new paradigm. It's going to be,
it's an answer.
We need more and more people doing that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's an answer to the Western medical system, which has failed. Like, raise your hand if that system has failed you. I mean, it's infuriating. It's infuriating. Like, even right now, I'm just dealing with my parents getting older and going in with them and needing to advocate for them. And their doctors being like, well, can they breathe? Like, yeah, okay, like, are they able to digest their food?
Right.
Like, somewhat. Like,
it's
then
like, if
they're
you're
fine.
not dead, it must be
like,
fine.
what?
Like
yeah, nothing I can do for you if you're not dead. But if you're dead, still nothing I can do for you. Like, okay, so you can do absolutely nothing for me.
They're like,
glad
and
that I got charged like $1,200 for that conversation.
Yeah. And it's interesting to me, as much as we have learned about our world, and as much as science has made so much progress, and we've invented so many things, and we've built this incredibly complex society. I mean, just thinking about like the human journey in general, we've gone so far, and yet we have either forgotten or do not understand our bodies as a collective, as a whole, the average person does not understand their 100%. System in their body. We do not understand our hormones. We do not understand our nervous system. We do not understand our adrenal system. We don't understand anything. The average person has just simply not been taught this by anyone. So I'm curious to ask you, when you're wanting someone to understand what's important about their health in the more physical. I mean, I love what you said, that like every physical thing that you're getting, there's this root cause before that or deeper than that is energetic. And I think that our community who's so obsessed with human design will really connect with that. But I'm curious to ask you on a more physical level, like what are the big things that we should be aware of in our health on a day-to-day basis that maybe a Western medical doctor wouldn't tell you?
That's a good question. And I think, this is one of the main things I want my clients to walk away with from me is what you said. It's like, I just want you to understand, if anything, I just want you to understand how your body works. Because when we understand how it works, we can advocate for it, right? I can make empowered decisions because I understand what it needs and why it needs it and all of that. I mean, I've worked with grown women before they have no idea how their period works. Like which to no fault of their own, we weren't taught it.
Yeah.
So.
Right. I would say like 80% of the adult women I know don't really understand how their cycle works in general. 80%. And I have friends who are in this realm, so the 20% know, but like the vast majority has no idea.
Sure. And so that's the main thing, which is why I like putting all of these pieces together, because when what I do is super in-depth analysis of the labs, and I go through every piece of the lab with my clients. Like, yes, some of it is super sciencey and it's like, okay, whatever. But some of it, it's like, now I understand this is why my gut is doing these things. This is why my hormones are doing these things. So to answer your question, I think this is going to sound very vague and probably not the sexy answer everybody wants, but I think the biggest thing really that you can do is just to listen to your body first and foremost. And while, yes, I know that sounds very simplistic and very like, okay, duh. But if we really think about it, how many times a day do we really stop and tune in to our body and listen to what it's saying? Because I have clients who come to me and, they've got 12,000 things going every which way on their labs. And they're like, oh, I didn't know. I'm like, no, you did. You did know. The signs and signals were there. But either A, you've shoved them aside like, oh, I don't have time to deal with that. I'll deal with it later. You've minimized it like, oh, this is probably normal, right? Or you've been so disconnected from your body that you can't even understand the language. I talk to my clients about learning the language of the body. So it's like listening to a foreign language. Like you've become so disconnected from your body that it's just it's not like registering that I should be listening to these things. So first and foremost is just listening and tuning into your body and learning the language of your body. The little signs and signals, the little symptoms, little aches and pains, the little, oh, this doesn't feel right. The little like, I don't feel great. So what feels off? Like that's the first step. And I think just that alone can change everything, because then you can start to dive in and educate yourself and learn more about your physical body, the energetic pieces and all that. It's just listening to what your body's saying.
Yes, I love that. And it's so true that like I'm pregnant right now, 4 months pregnant, and thank you. And all of the little signals that I get, I'm really paying attention to, because you're not able to take ibuprofen. Like normally I have a headache, like boom, take an ibuprofen and that shit is gone. And now I'm like, okay, is this a hormonal headache? Is this because I'm tired? Is this because I need hydration? And I really I can feel that I'm not feeling great, but then I do have to sit and I say, okay, what are the sensations that I'm feeling? Like, oh, I'm actually feeling a little bit of tension in my neck. Maybe it's none of those things. I just have tension in my neck, and that's why that tension is going up into my head. Like, to actually stop yourself and to slow down and to say, what though exactly is not feeling great? It's interesting that I feel like I'm a pretty aware person, but even I've had to go on a deeper journey of fine tuning it and dialing it in and really pinpointing. And when you do that, you do get surprising answers that you already did know. So it's surprising to your mind, but your body's wisdom was guiding 100%. You there.
Yeah. And that's the other thing too, is connecting with your body, but also connecting with your intuition, because I am also a believer that we have everything we need to heal ourselves. And a lot of that comes from an intuitive place. I mean, all of it maybe comes from an intuitive place. And so when you are able to connect with your body and your intuition, it's going to guide you, because you're right. Like there could be multiple reasons why you have a headache. And if you really tune into your body and you listen to what your body's asking for, you'll regulate, oh wait, the last time I drank water was like 12 hours ago. Like maybe I need some more water, right? Or, oh wait, I forgot to eat breakfast, so my blood sugar is not. So you start to figure out these things of why you're feeling the way you're feeling when you actually take the time to tune in and use your intuition, use your body to give you the answers.
Yeah, it's so fascinating. And another thing, like, talking about our cycles as women, I was never told that your period and that your bleed is not supposed to be painful until like 5 years ago. And I was like, oh, wait, what? Like, it was a paradigm shifting reality for me to have awareness of that, because my education on my body as a teenager was like, yeah, everyone has cramps. It sucks. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, you can have a heating pad or you can take ibuprofen. Those are your two options, period. Like that's it. And so that was just like the view that I had on my body, was that we had this painful thing that happens every single month and that's normal. So to have this new concept coming in, that pain is an indication that something else is off, that was massive for me. It literally shifted everything. And honestly, my not self theme as a projector of bitterness really came in. Like, I felt so bitter. Like, how could no one have told me this before? But I also feel really excited to like be able to promote these conversations and have professionals on that can help share these messages, for us to have the common knowledge and the grounding foundation that our natural state is healing, our natural state is well-being, and that is what's natural for us. So if we're experiencing dis-ease or discomfort or pain, that's actually not our natural state. Like, it kind of reminds me of the same concept in human design of your signature theme and your not self theme. Like, dis-ease is like your body's not self. It's not who you are. It's not normal. Your normal is healing and repair and this homeostasis. So I'm curious to ask you, what is your take on that? Like, about our body being its natural state, being in a state of healing, and what do people need to know to kind of ground that awareness into their life?
I agree with that 100%. And I think that's because most of us don't know that, or we were taught the opposite. Because I think we're also taught the opposite. And especially as women, like, the medical gaslighting thing is a real thing. I mean, I would say probably 90% of the clients I've worked with have been dismissed or brushed off by their doctors. And for, oh, well, you're experiencing this because you're a woman or you're getting older. And like, doctors giving them, like, offering them anxiety medication, where it's like, no, which is your hormone, take some anxiety medication. So it is a real thing to be dismissed and brushed off, especially, and it is substantially higher for women than it is for men. And I think that because we're taught the opposite, we do just kind of, we quote, learn to live with it, right? And that's what a lot of, I mean, it's the advice a lot of doctors give, honestly. It's like, you just learn to live with it, or it's just how it is. So but I agree with you that our bodies were made for balance. Our bodies were made for healing. I mean, you look at a kid, right? I have two kids, and they can heal like that. Like, that's what your body's designed to do. They get a little bug, they're like 12 hours later, they're totally fine. Like, our bodies are designed to heal. Our bodies are designed to, like you said, be in homeostasis. They're designed for balance. And I think it is that, first and foremost, just knowing that piece and knowing that your body holds everything it needs in it to balance and heal itself is crucial. And if you're finding yourself in a pattern where you're like, but I've been doing all the things, and this is, I mean, really what I feel like makes my work different from a lot of other practitioners is because I've had the people, like, I've worked with other functional practitioners before. I've done the holistic thing. I've done all the things. This is where the importance of putting all the pieces together comes into play. Because first of all, you can't out supplement a jacked up nervous system. You can't heal a body in the same energy that got you sick or in the dis-ease in the first place. So if the burnout and the urgency and I just need to fix it, like, that energy, you're not going to heal it in the same energy. So it requires an energetic shift. It requires a shift in your frequency. It requires a lot of times deconditioning, which is where we bring the human design piece in, to get to that energetic piece, which is where a lot of people miss it. You can do all the physical things. I can fix the diet. I can do the biohacking. I can do all these other things. But it's the energetic piece that they're missing most of the time. And this is really where I think makes the difference for people to really be able to understand that piece. Like, oh, my body does have everything it needs to heal itself. Like, now my body is designed for balance. This is where it's been out of balance. That's where that comes into play.
Yeah, and like, can we talk about
Mm,
rest and sleep? Because I feel like no matter what your human design type is, we've all been conditioned to believe that rest is lazy. So for us, Shane and I being projectors, that was a
for
core
sure.
theme and a core wound in our lives. But I know a lot of manifesting generators like you that have burnt themselves out because they are going and they are not listening to their
Yes.
body's responses to
Yes.
wanting rest. Like even my husband is a manifesting generator and he's a super active person. And when I first met him, he struggled with rest days, struggled. Even if he did something super, super challenging the day before, like hiked a 14,000-foot peak, the next day, if he had to just rest, he struggled. He would have anxiety because he was just in his mind fighting what his body was needing and responding to. So I'm curious to just ask you, like, what do you tell your community and your clients
Yeah.
about rest, and particularly in
Yeah.
connection to human design
Yeah.
or
No,
just
that's
in
crucial.
general?
And as I mentioned before, I mean, I have my own journey through burnout, and that was really the piece of it for me. And I also have an undefined root center, and so like the pressure, like that was like such a mind blowing moment for me when I understood how to work with my root center. Like mind blowing. A lot. I
Yes.
find this is for me personally, this is multi-layered, and for most of my clients it's multi-layered too, because yes, understanding the pressure centers like that's part of it, so that's a thing, like understanding how to work with that, your root and your sacral. I find for women especially, like learn how to use those two. But the other thing too, like for me, I have a whole series on this in my podcast I did earlier this year. It's I attached my worth to my productivity and my output. So for me, yes, there was this pressure to do, but it was also attached to my own self-worth. And so for me, that was such a huge like detangling process of untangling my worth with productivity and output and success and all of that. And that's what I find for the majority of the women I work with. That's a big piece. I really think that as women, that is a common core wound that we all share, just generationally, and it's like in our DNA. We as women, generations back, like our only uh sense of worthiness was procreating. Like that was the only thing we were good for, and so we have carried that with us through generations, doing and taking care. Like that was how we were, that was where our worth was. So there's a lot of deconditioning that has to happen around that, I found with my clients, and to be able to feel safe resting, because that's the piece. It's just feeling safe to rest. And so when we, and this is for me how it was, it was I had it kind of disguised as, oh, I'm just really ambitious, I'm a go-getter. It was a trauma response. That's not it at all. It's a trauma response because it didn't feel safe to rest. It didn't feel safe. I felt like I was lazy. Like there's all these stories attached to it, but I find that that's the biggest piece, is being able to cultivate safety around rest. And yes, there's a lot of deconditioning, and yes, there's a lot of rewiring in that process to be able to train your body and your brain to be okay with just being. And I mean, I've had my clients like, can you find a 10-minute window of your day to sit and do nothing? And it is so painful for them. Like it's like you said, your husband, like it is so painful. But can we just sit and do nothing? And can you feel your sense of worthiness just existing for 10 minutes without doing anything? It is hard. And I think that in and of itself is just shows how ingrained that is in us, like I said, especially as women, that it's that inherent worthiness is such a tricky thing to grasp. But that's really what it comes down to for us, finding that safety and rest and being able to honor our rest cycles. And that's the other thing too for my clients. I've worked this year I've worked with a couple manifestor clients, and the big thing was like honoring their rest cycles. And it's true for everybody. I mean, we all work in cycles, whether you're a manifestor or not. Like everything works in cycles, but being able to honor your rest and seeing your rest is equally important as your productivity, because that's the thing. We talk about burnout. Your productivity is important, yes, but if you're doing it in the energy of proving and forcing, like eventually you're going to hit a wall, you're going to meet resistance. But also the rest is where like the repair and the intuitive downloads, like there's value in the rest. There's equally amount of value in rest as there is in the doing, the productivity. And that's another concept that's really important to embody, to be able to see the value in both.
Oh my gosh. I feel like everything you just said was so needed for everyone to listen to, including myself. I feel like that's one of the biggest practices and like continuous journeys that I'm on, is because my chart is so open, but my root is like on fire with all the gates. Um, is detangling, like what you said, your safety, being safe enough to rest, and detangling your worth with your productivity, right? And that internal side, right? And that noticing that it is a trauma response, like everything you shared, I just feel like it was gold and so, so helpful. It's interesting. It makes me think of, I feel like we can think of times in our childhood that created that trauma response, right? But I can also think of times that I almost feel like nostalgic for, that I long for, where I was just safely resting. Like when you were a kid and you were just like staring at the ceiling, so bored, like on your bed, like literally just looking at the ceiling and like making faces out of the like little shapes or, whatever. Like I almost feel like, man, like when was the last time I was just bored?
It's
Like
so true.
bored, right? Because like I can spend 10 minutes doing nothing, but really I'm like laying and I'm on my phone and I'm consuming more content than I ever did in like 5 years as a child. Or I'm watching a show, right? Dana. But like I'm not doing nothing. Like when was the last time I was bored? And I can't really think of it, like, because the second that I'm bored, I'm like, okay, what can I do? What can I start a conversation with my husband, or, I text someone, or I look up something that I was like, oh, I meant to research this thing, or I read a book, or, I'm like tending to my child. Like I'm so busy, and busyness is a theme in the new paradigm, which is really interesting. But I have new paradigm on the brain because we talked about it so much on your podcast, which was really fun. But yeah, and the other thing, like I'm sure that you guys can resonate with, like when you were a kid and it would be raining and you'd be in the car and you just like watch the drops like on the window, and like that's all you did.
No video game in the car. Not even
like
having
you just
a conversation.
watch the raindrops fall and like guessed like, is that one gonna budge next? Like,
and
that's
your
it.
body was in homeostasis and your body was connected to its healing patterns because you were so young that it was before the pressure and the stress.
And you weren't questioning like, am I worthy? Like, am I good enough? Am I like, do I belong in this car looking at these raindrops? Like you were just doing that. And so I'm like, okay, I feel like I need to channel that energy to come in and bring my inner child to help heal my adult self versus like the opposite way, healing my inner child. Like, let me bring my inner child to come heal me and like help me feel more safe being restful. So beautiful. So many things that you shared. I'm like, oh, I love that you like just so profound. Like you cannot fix something with the same energy that caused it. Like, yes. Okay. Amazing. I'm like, what do I want to get into next?
I think have a question.
I
have a question. I was looking at other podcast episodes that you've done, Hope, and I found one where you guys really got into minerals. And I was just curious about, I feel like when I was a child and it was 1995, nobody was drinking electrolytes. Like literally.
Or water for that matter.
They were barely drinking water. Honestly, they were barely drinking water. I grew up in like a hippie town kind of in the Bay Area, and we had like the first stainless steel reusable water bottles. And I remember like going to other places, like I visited my cousins in Georgia and I'm like, where are all your water bottles?
We didn't have
those drink water
either.
I was like, what the hell? Anyways, my question is just about like, why do we all need so much electrolytes right now? I really feel that I need them. And I'm just kind of curious to ask you about your take in general about like that more physical side of supporting our bodies with minerals and things like that. Do you have any tips for us if we're beginners to this realm?
So I love the mineral conversation, and this is something I can talk about all day. The mineral part is like the foundational piece of the physical part that I do with my clients, because minerals are such a foundational piece of our health. So just like quick intro to minerals, if people listening are familiar. Minerals are called the spark plugs in the body because basically every reaction in the body requires minerals, whether they're the catalyst or the cofactor, they're involved in some way, shape, or form. Every hormone, neurotransmitter, protein, peptide, enzyme, like minerals are involved in all of that. So that's where I start with the physical piece for my clients. I do mineral testing, and that's where we start. And because really, if you want to heal at the cellular level, like people a lot of times women come to me and they're like, oh, just fix my hormones. And like, I would love to fix your hormones, but your hormones aren't actually the problem, right? They're just little chemical messengers telling us that other things are the problem. So we got to go further down the chain, and it starts at a cellular level with the minerals. And so to your point, like, why do we need electrolytes? Like, why do we, this is why, like, this is what is happening at a cellular level. It's the minerals. So for examples, the other thing I want to say, we're also electromagnetic beings. So electrolytes it's that chemical charge. Like, that's what we need to make our body balance out in that electromagnetic field. It's the electrolytes. So the magnesium, the chloride, the potassium, the sodium, all of those things, like that's the driving force of that electrical current that's going through our body and keeping everything running, hopefully optimally. So when we're getting, if just to get started, like you asked for basic things, electrolytes are great. Like I would say start there. Like taking electrolytes, I'm not getting paid to say this, so I can say this honestly. My favorite brand is Redmond. That's the ones that I recommend to my clients. I like it the best. I think it's one of the cleanest versions out there. They get the salt from the Great Salt Lake. So it's that ancient mineral rich sea salt. There's no like additives, and that's my favorite one. So like I take it. I have my mom who's in her 70s, like everybody takes it. So that's my favorite brand. But just getting electrolytes once a day, because here's the thing with water. Like, yes, and I did this to myself too. And I recognize when I did mineral testing on myself, I used to drink like a gallon or so of water a day, straight water. If you think about water, water's great. Our body is made up of mostly water, so we need the water. But the thing is, when we're hydrating with only water all day, every day, what do you do when you drink water? You got to pee. What are you peeing out? You're peeing out your minerals. Mm-hmm. So we're diluting our mineral balance by only drinking the water. We have to remineralize our body, which is what those electrolytes are for, and just minerals in general. But we want to make sure we're remineralizing the body and not just diluting our mineral balance. So that's first. Yeah.
Interesting. So like the more water you drink, potentially the more minerals you'll need.
Yeah.
To replace.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And so.
Wow. I've never heard anyone say that. That's a mind blowing moment to me.
Yeah. And can I just clarify, is it the Redmond's like electrolyte relight powder, or is it like Redmond salt that you're sprinkling
so we buy
in
both.
your water?
I buy all the things, and they have like herb blends and spice blends and stuff, but all the Redmond salt is made with that salt from the Great Salt Lake. So, and that's the thing, like just a little like backstory for salt and sodium. I have a whole episode on this on my podcast if you want to like dive down the rabbit hole with me. But for salts, sodium is an important mineral to the body. And I know salt was demonized, like starting in the 90s. It's like, oh, high blood pressure, you're going to have a heart attack. But the thing is with salt, it's not the salt itself, it's where we're getting the salt. It's the quality of the salt. So when like table salt, for example, is basically the equivalent of white sugar, right? It's been stripped of everything and it's just the sodium chloride. When you get a salt from like, say, the Great Salt Lake, which is where the Redmond, they get their salt from, it has 80 to 90 other trace minerals in that salt. So all the minerals can send the sodium where it needs to go in the body. And it's not just soaking up the sodium and making you swell up and making your cells so that's the difference. So the salt, the quality, like where you get the salt matters, which is why I like the Redmond. But yeah, they have the they have the not table salt. They have the regular salt, like the sea salt. They have like spice blends. They have the relight powder. So all of that is made with that good quality.
And you drink that like with every drink of water. You either have a sprinkle of salt.
No, I take electrolytes once a day. And that's usually it. Like if I'm sweating a lot for whatever reason, like I might add a little pinch of salt later in the day. But really once a day is really, I mean, that's really all you need. You could do a little pinch of salt once, but cool. Yeah, I wouldn't have, definitely don't do it all. That's going to be way too much sodium for your body if you're doing it all. Unless you're like an endurance athlete or something, But other than that,
you're sweating and running through the desert all day long.
Otherwise, just one serving a day. That's, it seems to do the trick. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love drinking electrolytes. So I'm like, I wanted very specific details. And I think that everyone listening to, it's like, give me the instructions. Let me do it.
We are all taking notes. And I'm curious to ask you, do you think our water table has changed over time where it's become more deficient of natural minerals? Or do you think that we're just awakening to the fact that this is something that is a key component to the foundation of our health? Like, did we not know before, or do we used to have more minerals naturally in our food and in our water?
Both. I mean, I do think we're becoming more aware because of that. I mean, there are scientific, you want to look at the science behind it. There are scientific studies that have tested the nutritional density of food from the 1950s to now. And it is they say that it's up to 50 to 60% less nutrient dense than it was in the 1950s. So 100%.
Wow.
It's huge.
That's a
it's
huge number.
And so, I'm not
Yeah.
one to like say, supplements are the fix to everything, but I am a huge proponent of a multivitamin and a multi-mineral supplement just to fill in the gaps. That's it. It's not like take this and then go eat like crap, but it's like there are holes in our system because of that. Our soil is so mineral depleted. The way we're farming is stripping away. I mean, industrial farming is the number to the soil and the nutritional density to the soil, nutrient density to the soil. Like organic, yes, you can buy organic foods and they are better, but they're still not as nutrient dense as they used to be 40, 50 years ago. So yeah.
It's crazy.
Wow.
Like I'm here in Europe right now and I just had the little supermarket that sells like candy and like bullshit. Like it's not like a nice like Whole Foods, it's just like a tiny little market that sells a few things. And the grapes there, I literally was like, I did not know a grape could taste that good.
Yeah.
Like I thought that I've had good grapes before, like crunchy, delicious, like organic, amazing grapes. Like I just thought that I reached like the height of how good a grape could taste.
The peak of grape.
I didn't know. It's like, you can't see a certain color, right? But other people can. Like I didn't know that grapes could taste how they taste. And it's literally
100%.
from the soil that it was grown
100%.
in and the nutrient density.
Sure.
I don't know, but it's fucking delicious.
And
but it is crazy how over time it's just like been stripped and stripped and stripped. So you would say that yes, with the water, like that it's losing its minerals over time, but also we just didn't have this information. Like I think a lot of people think like, nobody was doing that when I was a kid and we turned out fine. It's like, did we? Like, I'm pretty sure that like most everyone's like mom or dad or someone in their family has had cancer or died of cancer or, like we didn't turn out fine. We just didn't know that information and we can do better now that we have it.
And can I ask you, Hope, about something that you said about like your hormonal imbalances being a symptom? Like your hormonal imbalance is not actually the root cause of what you're experiencing. That's kind of new information to me. Like we've been going into the realm of hormones, Shayna and I personally on our own journeys just in the last 5 years. And it's like, wow, we have hormones. Like, it's like a brand new thing to us and trying to get, more curious and read more about it and eat foods that are supporting it and all of that stuff. But can you tell us about how that hormonal imbalance is not actually the problem? It's actually the symptom of something else.
So hormones, like I mentioned before, hormones are just little chemical messengers. They're just telling the body what to do. They're telling it where to go. They're telling things what to do. And a lot of things are required to make hormones. So there's different minerals involved. There's different cofactors of vitamins that are involved. Like there's a lot of B vitamins involved, and there's things involved in your liver, conversions in your liver, and so your pancreas. There's a lot of things involved in creating hormones. So if we're looking at the body, like hormones are like at the top. Like we feel the effects of them the most because that's what's affecting us on a physical level. But if we really want to get to the root cause of why hormones are doing what they're doing, you got to go down like 10 more layers down below the surface. And so like, for example, one of the labs I do is called a Dutch test, and it's a really comprehensive hormone test because you can get your hormones tested at the doctor, right? You can go get a blood lab. This one is a dried urine test, which just basically means you pee on some paper, but it measures so many different things and looks at it a totally different way for that reason. Because yes, you could look at it and be like, oh, your estrogen is doing X, Y, Z, your progesterone is doing X, Y, Z, but that doesn't really tell you much. Like this is not helpful information. If we look deeper at, say, if I'm looking at the Dutch test, I can see how your liver is converting them. So is there a liver issue that's going on? I can see how it shows different precursors or different metabolites of vitamins and neurotransmitters because those are also involved in hormone production. Is there an issue there? I also do mineral testing. There's a lot of minerals that are cofactors to creating these. So there's all these other pieces that are required to make the hormones and make the hormones do what they're going to do. So this is why the hormones are the actual issue. And so, like I said before, that's a lot of times that's what women come to me like, fix my hormones are doing something crazy. And they just want to do hormone testing. that's not going to fit, because also the gut is involved as well. The gut is involved in breaking down and helping eliminate. So that could also be an issue in how your hormones are functioning. I've had women before who swore they had these really crazy hormonal things going on. It was all gut stuff. The minute we fix the gut, all the hormone things fix. So I can tell you for a fact, like, the hormones are not the problem.
Wow. Wow. And can you talk a bit about gut health? I mean, you hear people talk about the new paradigm and energetics, and like, I think it's a Nikola Tesla quote that he's like, the future belongs to people who think in terms of frequency and vibration or something like that. And I was thinking about the future of medicine. I'm like, the future of medicine belongs to those who think about hormones and gut health. Like, these are like the two, aspects of our health that seem to be so interconnected to everything else. They seem to be such key players, and it's just wild how little the average person knows about it. So I'm curious, what are some of your takeaways that you would share with people about having good gut health?
So your gut is, here's the thing about gut health. Your microbiome, like the bacteria in your gut, is as unique as your fingerprint. So this is why the gut, there's so much nuance around gut health. Because you can take some blanket advice about the gut, probiotics and, whatever, but there's so much nuance around it because of that, because everybody's gut microbiome is different, which is why some people can have certain food sensitivities and other people don't, while some people can digest certain foods better and some people don't. Like, your microbiome is so unique. And so I think that's the first thing I would want people to know, is just understanding that and being careful, being mindful about just blanket gut health advice, because it can be tricky. And I've had clients before who swear they have food sensitivities, and it kind of this similar conversation around the hormones. Like, the food sensitivity is not the problem. Like, why does your gut think that food is an invader? I've had people who've taken food sensitivity tests and says, like, oranges and tomatoes and chicken. Like, nobody's allergic to that. Like, that's not, I mean, they can't be, but that's not the actual problem. It's, why does your body think that is an invader that needs to be gotten rid of, and you're having this reaction to the food? So the gut is so crucial. Or knowing that your gut is that individual is so crucial. And then in terms of like balancing the gut, again, I always go back to the minerals because this plays such a huge piece. The minerals are important too. The gut, like, for example, your stomach acid, specific minerals are required to make adequate stomach acid. If we don't have adequate stomach acid, protein is where, or the stomach is where protein is digested. If your protein is not fully digested, it's going to go down into your stomach. It's going to go down into your intestines. Then you have undigested protein going down there. It's either going to sit and putrefy, and it's going to cause an imbalance of really bad gut bacteria. It's going to make you bloated. Or you're going to end up having potentially some food sensitivities because you have this undigested protein that's just sitting there in your gut. So just one example of, like, we need minerals for that reason. The minerals are going to be involved in how your gut is operating. Your minerals are involved in the enzymes required to break down your food in whichever part of the digestive tract we're talking about. So I would say in terms of gut health, like, probiotic rich foods are always great. Like, just getting like sourdough bread and kimchi and sauerkraut, like all those foods are great. And also, I mean, it's still a focus on the minerals. I mean, I think that is a really important part of gut health as well.
Wow, it's so fascinating that you bring up food sensitivity, because that's another thing, like talking to my boomer ass parents, they're like, we never drank water, we never drank electrolytes. And they say no one in my class when I was in high school or in elementary school was ever allergic to anything.
I've heard that before.
Yes, like, where is it coming from? And it's really interesting to think about how those food sensitivities are not the root cause. It's a symptom of deeper things. And I think that that's really empowering, actually, to hear, because when people discover that they have all of these food sensitivities, I feel like it can feel very discouraging. Like, okay, great, I have to just change the way that I live forever and make all these sacrifices in order to take care of my health. But it's like, no, these are actually things that are a symptom. Go deeper, and maybe you can change the root cause of this, and then you'll have a different outcome about, what you're able to consume. Exactly. Wow, that's really powerful. And I also wanted to ask you, with human design and playing the energetic role to our health, what are some of the big observations that you see in your community or in your collective, that it's like, if everyone knew this about, it could be specific, like if every manifestor I've ever known knew this one thing, like maybe their health would change. Like, are there any big themes that you wish that the world knew because you really feel like their human
Yes.
design could help their physical
So many,
health?
but I will narrow it down. I think first I will say I mentioned the root center before, so I'll say that one first. Your root center is tied to your adrenal glands. Our adrenals are responsible for the stress response in the body. The other thing about your adrenals is it's also closely tied to your thyroid. Your thyroid and your adrenals have a really special relationship. And so I would say 99% of the clients I work with have, if you have adrenal issues, you have thyroid issues. If you have thyroid issues, you have adrenal issues. Not to say there's a specific diagnosis, but I can see in the labs, like you have a slow functioning thyroid. This is why your metabolism isn't working great. This is why you're tired all the time, right? There's a connection there. So when you understand how to work with your root center, understand the difference between the energy of a defined versus undefined root center, that can be a game changer. Understanding that, and it can be a game changer in how your adrenals are functioning, your just overall stress response in your body. The other one I would say, I look a lot at energy centers just because they're attached to the organs and glands, and it helps, kind of figure out how the physical flow of energy. The other center I would say is your emotional solar plexus. I love talking about this one. And when y'all were on my podcast, we talked about emotions and stuff. And this came up for me. This one is so fascinating to me. And mine is undefined. I have an undefined solar plexus. And so I know this as fact. So we know that if it's open, like we're taking in a lot of people's energy there. But whether it's defined versus undefined, our solar plexus is tied to a lot of our detox organs. So when we're talking about emotions, feeling emotions, expressing them versus repressing, suppressing them, when you are suppressing, repressing, holding back, holding in emotions, you are literally holding in toxins to your body. Like your body literally cannot detox optimally when you're doing that. So that would be a big one for me, understanding how to work with the energy of your emotional solar plexus, because I had a client, this came to my head last week. I had a session and she was talking about, she had gone to her doctor and done some blood work, and her A1C was like off, and she's super healthy. Like she runs, she does marathons, but her A1C is off. And so I do frequency resonance scans. And so something in her resonance scan showed some issues with like boundaries. And we started talking about emotional boundaries. And so there's like this light bulb moment for her. I'm like, okay, let's think about this. Your emotional solar plexus is tied to your pancreas. Your pancreas is responsible for insulin response. Insulin is what helps regulate your blood sugar. Of course, you're going to have blood sugar issues because you got no boundaries, my friend. Like we have to talk about emotional boundaries. So the power of understanding those two centers can be life-changing.
Wow. I love that. I could talk about this
know.
for 2 more hours because I'm
deep dive.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for people to go.
It.
I'm excited for people to go to your podcast and check it out, because as I was scrolling through and looking at your different episodes, like I saw that you had a guest on your show talking just about magnesium. And that has been a key, like I've been thinking about it and reading about it and hearing about it. And so I feel like, this conversation has really sparked a lot of fascination for us personally, and I'm sure for a lot of people listening. So, and it's just scratching the surface. And a lot of what we've been talking about with human design and also with health in general is that it is so individualized. So it's like these conversations are meant to spark that journey. And then, your personal journey can kind of start from there, getting that blood work, meeting with a guide. And I'm curious, that kind of leads into the next thing. How do people work with you? How do they find you?
So most active on Instagram, I'm at the Hope Pedraza. My website is hopefulandwholesome.com. And then, like you mentioned, I have a podcast. So you can check out my podcast, also called Hopeful and Wholesome. And you can learn about all things going on over there.
Amazing. It's been such a pleasure having you on this podcast. I'm like, I have so many more questions for you. And I'm like, everyone needs to go work with you. I'm going to be telling everyone in my life because it's just so wholesome. It really, really is. So thank you so much for being here today and sharing your genius with us.
Thanks for having me, y'all. This is so fun.
Wow, I am obsessed, like I was saying. And as always, if you want to dive deeper into human design, you know where you can check out our offerings on our website, daylunalife.com, also on our Instagram at DayLuna. And if you are not a bestie yet, we would love to see you there. We would love to connect monthly. This is our favorite little group where we get to connect one-on-one. Well, not one-on-one, I guess, group one-on-one. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but where we get to meet live and really answer your questions and navigate the energetics that are happening collectively. There's so much happening right now, and it can feel overwhelming, but having this community where we get to meet every month and really drop in together and do this energetic upkeep and cleaning, and also just meeting with like-souled people who really get it and understand you and accept you and love you. It's honestly one of my favorite spaces. And so many of our besties reach out like every month. Some even text us and they're like, this besties is my favorite thing I do every month. Like it is, I don't want to say it's like church because it's definitely not a cult. But
we do meet on Sundays for our ceremony, and it feels so beautiful and special. Every single bestie ceremony, I feel like I am so grateful that this is how I spent an hour of my morning, because it is so healing. It helps you so much in your journey of personal alignment, and to have that support and that check-in. And also every month we have a library of mini courses, of EFT tappings, of guided meditations. Like it's just a supportive place to help you stay on your path of alignment and not get discouraged or fall off the bandwagon, but to really be there for yourself in community with other people who get it and who are doing the same.
Yes. So every month is different, but the ceremony is always just such a blessing, like truly sets me up for the whole next month ahead. So if that's the only reason you're joining, great. It's going to be amazing. Or if you are wanting to learn more, we have so many resources and besties for you. So yeah, join us, Your Human Design Besties. You can find that on our website. And we are just sending you so much healing, wholesome, like held energy today as you navigate your day with this information that Hope shared. Truly like so many mind-blowing moments. So we love you. We hope your day is amazing. Thank you for tuning in with us today. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe to follow along and learn more about human design.